Okay, can everybody see that?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Yay. So again, welcome. Tonight we are going to talk about a lot of things, and this is the first basics about international service. So we're going to fill your brain with a whole bunch of different ideas to get you thinking. So we're going to talk a little bit about basics. Our district has a lot of resources available to you, but I know in talking to many of you, it's like, how do I even find projects? Well, we're going to give you numerous ways to find projects. Then talk to you a little bit about what do we actually have going on in our district now. And Past District Governor Ron Smith was also going to talk to you a little bit about how you implement and even start projects during this weird world that we live in. So let's just start out. And this, everybody knows this, but let's just think about it. The international service is really any type of Rotary engagement with the global community. And the global community is several hundred countries with a couple million Rotarians. So the possibilities are really endless for international service. Okay, so now you're interested in international service, but how do you even get started and find a project? Well, there are many, many, many ways. So let's show you, and we're going to go through and talk about all of these things. We first will tell you to utilize our District International Service Committee and networks, but before we even move to that, anytime you travel, anytime you're in an area, there's a Rotary Club. Probably the best way to find out what other clubs are doing and get ideas even internationally is attend Rotary meetings. And the one advantage right now with COVID is that just about, not all, but throughout the world, most Rotary meetings are online. I've been attending several in different parts of the world. So you can search on a country and search on a club, find out when their meetings are, and show up on Zoom, which you couldn't have done before. And then we're going to go through these other things in detail. But first, that's how you can connect, is attend other meetings. Now, in our district, we are very fortunate. We have developed, we started with past District Governor Frank Romana. He was our first District International Service Chair, and we have a whole network of people in different clubs throughout our district that can come talk to your club and have specific areas that they're special in, or they feel specialized in, that have done. You can contact any of these people. They can direct you to the right place. You can always contact me and I can direct you to the right place. So we have our own resources to start with. Let's start with one thing. I'm going to show you, probably it's one of the newer things that Rotary has, but I'm going to stop this share and go to a next share. So just bear with me. Okay, everybody knows what My Rotary is, right? If you don't, go to myrotary.org and get yourself an account. The amount of information on there is just incredible. So the first one we're going to talk about is the Rotary Showcase. Under each one of these little ideas sections here, there are many parts. So here under Take Action, go to Develop Projects, and you can see Rotary Showcase. Rotary Showcase itself can be overwhelming. So in my Rotary Showcase, as soon as it decides to show up here, will be a listing. It'll be, I don't know why this isn't doing this. It doesn't like me. I'm just seeing if. Okay, what I'm going to do, because we're going to use this a lot, I'm going to, and excuse me, because this is the first time I've used this. on a share. Okay, so if you haven't done it, you go to myrotary.org, myrotary.
Cindy, it looks like it loaded. Go back to that tab.
Ah, okay, thank you. It just took a while. So under Rotary Showcase, okay, I'm going to ask everybody to mute for a while because there's some background noise that's coming. So Rotary Showcase, you can actually search for projects. Okay, you can enter a keyword. You can look like you're seeking partners. You want to know what's in progress. You can actually pick a country in the world. Let's say you have an interest in some country. Pick a country in the world and it'll take you to the open projects. Additionally, you can find out what projects by viewing projects that are COVID related. You can also find, and many of you've already talked to me about projects seeking global grant projects. So let's just look at a couple. And it just takes a while. Mostly because I probably have 3 tabs of this open. Okay, and again, you can sort it. Okay, and this will be an example. Okay, in India, there's a lot of Indian ones. They're trying to do a total knee replacement project for around the year. And it says seeking global grant projects. It'll tell you the budget and it'll tell you the amount they still need. And you can just sort down. There's over 37 pages of these. Okay, at Bangalore, Costa Rica, that you can actually find to seek partners. You can also seek partners by a cause. And this is becoming more and more prevalent. So do you want to have a polio partner? Do you want to do a project under any of the 6 areas of focus? And the same thing with peace. And these are just the countries that have loaded or district their projects. So if you in your club want to start a project and you're also going to need funding, you can post on this site. So let's just do really quickly. Let's just look at fighting disease. And it just takes a while. Again, same thing. So you can almost get lost in this, but this gives you the ideas. And I wanted to make sure we went through that because I think simple. Okay, so these are some projects that are completed. One was in Brazil. We had India, Cote d'Ivoire, but you'll see numerous countries when you do that. So that's the Rotary Showcase. Okay, so now we're going to go back into the seminar. Let's give you a minute here. Okay, so that's Rotary Showcase. Another way to find projects, and you can also join, is through Rotary Action Groups. Now, next month in February, for those of you that are attending, and please tell everyone, we are going to have a whole separate webinar just on Rotary Action Groups. They're independent, they're Rotary affiliated, and they're made up from people all around the world. They're oftentimes experts in a particular field, such as economic development or water. There is a Rotary Action Group on each of areas now, areas of focus in Rotary, which are now 7. So if you just wait a minute, we're going to just quick show you some of them. Oh, that didn't work too good. Hold on, I'm still learning. Okay, same thing. You go to My Rotary, type in Rotary Action Groups, and it's amazing. And you can join, any Rotarian can be a part of any action group. We have several in our district. So here's the Rotary Action Groups by area of focus. There are 4 just with peace. There's numerous just with fighting disease. You can click on each one of them. Each one of them has a website. Each one of them has their own conversations, sometimes help support projects, etc. There's a new one on protecting the environment. I just joined the environmental sustainability group, and we have people in our district that are on the literacy action group, the peace action group, the water and sanitation action group, and maternal and child health. So again, you don't have to join, but if you're interested in a project like that, we can help you get to that. So again, this is the presentations. This is what they are. And it's very easy to join them. You click, you show you're a Rotarian, and you go to it. So those are Rotary Action Groups. I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to go back to this. Okay. So another thing that is really fun, I think, are called Rotary Fellowships. Now, Rotary Fellowships don't necessarily follow the 6 areas of focus, but if you have a hobby and you want to meet people from around the world, or you have a passion about something, it's also a good way to develop a contact for any project. There are almost 100 fellowships. I'm not going to go in and share that screen because that's a little bit much. But to give you an example, and we have Rotarians in our district who have joined many of these fellowships. We have the Beer Fellowship. We have the Wine Tasting Fellowship. We have our district governor-elect who's just joined a Motorcycle Fellowship. Several of us are part of the International Travel and Hosting Fellowship. But you name a hobby, and you can develop a project around this. So that's another way to do things. Another thing that Rotary has started to do is have something called project fairs. For project fairs, I'm not going to go into, you go into the My Rotary, okay, under the tab that's Exchange Ideas, it says Events. And under Events are project fairs. And I just printed you a sample. You can go in and click. Let's say you have a passion for some place in the world. Many places in the world have organized project fairs. So within their district or their whole country, they'll set up like a trade show, and they have displays about all their projects. In the COVID world, most of these are now virtual. We recently had one this past year in Ecuador. As you can see, the end of January, there's one in Panama. There's one in Colombia in February, and there's going to be one in Peru later in the year. So you just have to peruse that. Again, another way to get you ideas and contacts. Another way that's also fun is we've been participating in our district in what's called Friendship Exchange. And Friendship Exchange is an international program where Rotary members and friends of Rotary can allow participants to host one another in your homes. You travel to their club, and then our district supports their club. But our district's participated in 11 of these around the world. And as a result of that, with our contacts around the world, we have done 2 global grants. We participated in a hospital equipment in Romania as a result of an exchange. And we participated in an agriculture equipment project in Argentina as a result of exchange. And our last exchange in South Africa, the Downtown Allentown Club connected with a local club and did their own little project. So the possibilities are endless. Our district's exchange friendship chair is Deang. She's from the Emmaus Club, and she's going to just talk to you about something new we've even added in friendship exchange. So do you want to unmute yourself, Dee? Are you there?
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, so you want me to talk about club to club?
Yes, please.
Okay, so since we are on hiatus from Friendship Exchange due to international travel being, on hold, we do have some set up, but I don't know when they'll happen. So I had this idea that maybe we could get to meet other district, Rotarians and go to their areas because there are a lot of Rotarians that we don't know. So, and actually that's one of the fun things with Friendship Exchange is you get to know other clubs through, sharing the hosting of different people. But so I started I think our first one was in September, till we got it going. And I meant it to be from club to club, but it's more like individuals in individual clubs, although some are more than one club person coming. And I'm hoping to expand it. So we've had a total of 4 so far. We've been to the Michener Museum, along with gardens. We've been to a hike at Hawk Mountain. And hopefully, even though winter's coming, I'm trying to plan one for either the end of January, early February. And with COVID, hopefully we can meet outside depending on the weather, because I don't know what's coming up. And it's totally optional, but it is growing because, somebody from some club, tells other people in their clubs or somebody else they know from Rotary. So I hope more and more of you get interested, and hopefully we'll keep it going. And by the time we ever get to meet in person again for a district conference, you'll know a lot of people just because you've seen them over the several months we've all been stuck in our homes. So
Thank you, Dee. But the other thing that even by doing from club to club in our district, you start talking to other Rotarians. What projects do you do? Maybe there's an international one and maybe you can develop a partner. So every opportunity is a good one. Another opportunity that I had never even heard of is called Intercountry Committee. Intercountry Committee is actually an organization within Rotary that promotes working together for joint projects, cultural activities, etc. The whole goal is to promote peace and goodwill. I am a member of the International Intercountry Committee, and it basically, and this was interesting, this committee started after World War II, primarily in Europe, because Rotary was banned in many of the Eastern European countries. It started primarily in Europe. There are now African countries, some districts in the United States, and it's another way. We have an opportunity, which was going to happen this year, for our first cultural exchange with this, but that's just going to have to wait. But again, it's a great way to look for projects. Another way to look for projects is actually an old website. It is no longer sponsored by Rotary International, but it's called matchinggrants.org. I'm going to share that with you real quick because this is a quick idea if you want to get ideas and monies for and know how much money is needed for a project. So I'm going to share screen again. And can everybody see this?
Not yet.
Okay, so I screwed up something. Now can you see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is matchinggrants.org. And this is now maintained by a district on the West Coast. We have had dealings with this. And basically what you do is, let's say for international, you can do either a global grant or district grants. For international projects, you click on this and it'll go by country. Okay, it's usually oldest to newest. And you pick a country. Okay, let's say it's Nepal. And it'll say the name of the project, goat farming project, and right now, to get that project going, they still need $19,952. So if your club is interested, you can contact them or we can contact the district, and it just goes with a list. Now, again, this is not part of the Rotary reporting global grants, but it really, I mean, there are just countries all over the world. And I have to tell you, we used to use it all the time because that in the old system, that was how you made your progress. However, our district just used this a year and a half ago with our Doylestown Club, as we had a global grant in New Mexico. And we used the matchinggrant.org's website to advertise our project. As a result of that, we got some funding from actually California. So we have used it recently and it does work. So that's kind of another way, or we'll say an older way, but it's still very, very much in place. So now I'm going to stop share and share screen again. Okay. There's some other programs that we have. Have I filled your head up yet? Okay, and many of you know these programs. We have Rotoplast. Susan Burnett from the Bethlehem Morning Star Club is the chair. Rotoplast is an international project that our district has supported that helps do surgery for cleft palates. However, in the countries that we go in, not only do we seek volunteers, and Susan is always willing to come to your club to do a talk on Rotoplast. However, we have done projects sometimes in those countries as a result of our Rotarians going to those countries and participating. So it's another outlook to be able to get you projects. We all have probably heard of Shelterbox. Shelterbox, the same way, in a little different sense. We have had Rotarians in our district who have actually gone on Shelterbox missions and have been trained. As a result of that, contacts are made from around the world and you can develop a project. Contact Linda Mager from the Saucon Valley Rotary Club. She will be glad to come to your club and do a talk. But one of the biggest things, and I just had we are so honored that our district 7430 has been in the United States top districts for supporting Shelterbox, and we just got this award for 20 years. So we have to brag a little bit about that. Another way to find projects is through Rotary Partners. I'm not going to go to these individual websites, but these are several organizations that have done projects with Rotary. So you can go to the Peace Corps. Habitat for Humanity has done projects worldwide. Ashoka is a social organization. There's also Mediators Beyond Borders. So again, get your head filled with ideas and you can contact those places directly. Another way is through the Learning Center. If you want to find out about international service, the foundation, any club committee, on the Learning Center, and they've been expanding this dramatically, it provides tools for learning. Additionally, we don't think much about our Rotary alumni. We talk about it. However, we have had a very large youth exchange program. Many clubs still keep in touch with graduates of our youth exchange program. Oftentimes, they're supported by a club in another country. Get in touch with that club. It's certainly, if you loved that country, if you loved that student, an opportunity for a project. We've had what was called group study exchange teams over the years. Many people still keep in touch with many of the countries. We have done projects as a result of group study exchange teams. So again, it's the networking, we say the connection, that's what helps us with projects. We then started something new and plan on continuing it. We said, okay, what's a way many of our Rotarians in our district love to travel, love to do different things, but they want to do service. So we instituted something new called the International Service and Fun Fellowship. And in 2019, we had 12 Rotarians and spouses from our district, as well as we had a participant from a district in Michigan that traveled to the country of Zambia in Southern Africa. And we did volunteer service by actually, and you can see, by painting a school, 3 schools actually. Several Rotary clubs pitched in and bought the paint, taught the Africans how to paint. But at the same time, when the painting was done, we said, what better way to go to Africa than to do a safari? Now we have 2 potential ones of some more service and fun that can be planned that will possibly tie into exchanges as soon as we can travel. But that can give you ideas because you and your club, we did this as a district, you can also do this type of thing. Okay, so now let's tie, I filled your head up, and I hope I didn't talk too fast. I filled your head up with lots of ideas. So now you found an idea. How do you tie that all together to really make a project? You saw the list of people. We are here to help you in our district, and we can provide support. Your club can initiate it. You can go to other clubs and do multiple clubs in the district. Talk to your assistant governor. Talk to other clubs. You can also do international projects through district grants as well as global grants. Our grant application period is currently open. From November 1st through March 31st, you can do international projects with global grants as well. We are having grant certification starting this Thursday night. You can also do global grants. Ron Smith will be doing an international service section in March just on global grants. But that's how you can, and let's use our foundation dollars to be able to do these projects. So let's talk a little bit about what's now, and I just found out about a new one today. Here are some things that are going on in our district. Now, in many cases, we're a little bit on hold because of COVID. We're going to talk to you a little bit about that. But if any of you are interested, you can contact me and I will get you to the right contact within the club. So we've had a water project that's going on, started in Haiti. In 2018-19, Rotary International President Barry Rassin from the Bahamas decided that he wanted to make the whole country of Haiti have potable water. And so we have a water project in one section of Haiti that we're about to get started. And the Pottstown Club is the leader of that with a number of other districts. In Guatemala, we're toying with an education project with literacy. In Zambia, we actually have 2 projects and they're a little bit stalled right now. One is to follow up on a vocational training team that we had 2 years ago with education and literacy, and another is tied with that education and water and sanitation to revamp a science center in a different school. In Uganda, we've had a huge maternal child and health project going on. In Jamaica, there possibly could be a project going on that's being discussed. Projects being discussed in Nepal with COVID. In Cambodia, the Downtown Allentown Club is working on a program through Sustainable Cambodia. Which is a whole separate topic, and we can talk to you about that. And those are the things that are going on. This morning, I got a phone call, and one of our clubs is interested in a project in Burkina Faso, and that would be the first time that we did something like that. Additionally, things going on, pay attention to emails, pay attention to our newsletter. We will have additional friendship exchanges, and we're going to do some new international service fund fellowships as well as cultural exchanges. So have I filled your head up? Now we're going to go to something a little different. So we've talked to you about all of this, but now how do you really get going with international projects in the world of COVID? And I'm going to turn this over to past District Governor Ron Smith. So Ron, I'm going to stop share and then you should be able to share. Okay, so I have stopped And Ron Smith, hey, he's better at this than me. Yay.
Anyways, it's show myself here. Hang on a second. Where'd it go? My screen's so small. Is my screen shared yet?
Yes, your screen shared.
Yeah, okay. Let me go to the PowerPoint. Okay, slideshow. I'm trying to get my video to start here. All right. I'm hiding.
We're all in a learning process with
I
this.
don't know why my view went small here. Hang on a second. Here we go. Found it. Oops. Hey, everybody. How are you? Developing international projects, whether it's or global grants, whether it's in a pandemic world or not, doesn't make a huge amount of difference, except things just perhaps take longer, a little bit more patience. But I can cover some of the issues that we've had with the COVID and the pandemic. So on any international project, whether it's a global grant or just a district grant or a club project, you have to have an idea and, more importantly, a vision. The difference between an idea and a vision, in my perspective, is you're committed to a vision, where an idea is only an idea until you begin putting together the pieces. And it begins with good partnerships. You have to have partners that are passionate. You have to have partners that are committed. You have to, and if you're going to do a district or a global grant, you have to have a club partner who's qualified, which means they have to have been to their own training, et cetera. And club having some experience is extremely important, especially when projects get more complex. One of the things we find in many projects is that maybe the Rotarian has an idea that they want to implement a water project, but the community wants a hospital. And so it's like doing the community project with your partner is very important, and to do an assessment to really find out what the needs are and make sure that all parties who are potential partners are in agreement that this is really what the community needs, whether it's not so specific interest to a particular Rotarian or volunteer. Also, there has to be some way to measure, because if Rotary Foundation is going to fund it, we have to measure the effect of what the money spent on. When a club project or a district grant project is being implemented, it's less stringent in terms of what the measurements are. You have to have financing, whether it's club money, whether it's a donor's money, whether it's Rotary Foundation. Rotary Foundation has its own list of ways of financing things. So when you begin to enter into a COVID world and having, a pandemic going on, these things perhaps take longer. But what I've found recently, I'll talk about these subjects now, is that the going virtual has actually improved communications. I think worldwide, people are much more comfortable with getting on screen, whether it's on their iPhone in the middle of a shopping place in Uganda. They find a quiet corner and they listen. So I do find that the communication actually has improved. It does take time. And so even though we're in the middle of a pandemic now, if you're, as a club member, want to start a project in Haiti or Nepal, as Cindy's talking about, this is really the time to begin to start and reach out to those potential partners or to those clubs, or whether you join a project through the matchinggrants.org or Showcase. If your club's made a decision they want to do something internationally, Cindy went through a host of things. It will take perseverance. I think some people who might be online have realized it might take 1 or 2 years to get to the right person in the right club or in the right district to get something really moving. And it might take a lot of rocks to be uncovered. So you really have to be committed. And that's why I meant you have to have a vision of what you want to accomplish rather than just an idea. It does take patience. As I learned in Uganda, I got kind of kidded, I'm always on a schedule. I'm always looking at my watch. And they said, well, you Americans, you have watches. Here in Uganda, we have time. So things do take longer. It does take a lot to learn. And then when COVID came with our particular projects, they were on shutdown as well. So we had a project, a global grant project with the Bluebell Rotary Club and Mbali Rotary Club. And it took a while to get the drillers out there. It took a while to get supplies. The Rotarians couldn't get to site because they were in lockdown. So, you know, it took patience and understanding because we were in the same boat. It did take good communication, and we found that Zoom platform works very well. Or you could use you could use WhatsApp, you could use Messenger. They all have video applications, so you don't necessarily have to have a Zoom platform, but a video platform gets very useful. It helps develop your relationships to be much deeper. And when you develop a good relationship with your club or your partner, you find that you can get things done. And one thing you'll find in the early stages of a project is you really need to spend some time finding out who can move things. Who are the influencers? You know, you might have a club member that you met, but that club member, even in their own district, doesn't kind of know the cogs of the wheel. And it might take a long time for you and that Rotarian to get the idea moved ahead so soon or in the process than later. What you want to find out from your partner over in the other country is to find out who in their district can really move things, whether it's the district foundation chair, whether it's the district governor or governor nominee, whether it's just a past governor who just knows how to get things done. It's very good to work with that Rotarian in that club overseas to get to that person and get them committed to the vision and the project you have, because they can actually help find financing if it's going to end up being a district grant funded or whether it's going to be a global grant funded. What I'm finding in the pandemic world, from our perspective, it's much less hands-on and more project management. I'd love to go over to Uganda. I know some of our club members would like to go to Zambia, et cetera, and do some of those projects. So I would say for the next, 12 to even 24 months, because the rollout of the vaccine is going to take some time as we're learning. And when you put that into less developed countries, it's going to take even longer. So we need to learn to work with our partners, trust our partners, and manage them remotely by Zoom or some other kind of platform. Meet with them often. We had an opportunity during Foundation Month for the Bluebell Rotary Club to have a joint meeting with the Mbali Rotary Club, which was our project partner for putting a water well in the northeast part of Uganda. That project actually stemmed from a shelter box project. So Cindy's very right in the connectivity between different aspects of the different international programs lead to great projects. So that particular contact up in Mbali came when Bruce Dernley was a shelter box response team member, and he was there on some, slides that came off the mount. There's a very big mountain, Mount Elgon, in that area, and that has a lot of floods that come off the slopes and causes all kinds of havoc below, and so mudslides and floods. And then there's a lot of other issues that come as a result of that. So we actually had a joint Rotary Club meeting and saw the progress. It wasn't all finished yet, but it was great. We had 80 people online, about 30 or 40 from our club and about 30 or 40 from their club and some surrounding Rotary clubs. So the pandemic world has made these opportunities for us to get even deeper relationships, and I would use it as much as you can. We need to show more flexibility and patience, and more importantly, to be able to adapt to the on-the-ground situation. We're in the middle of a maternal and child health project in Uganda, and we learned that COVID was really going to affect the health centers that we were working in. We were afraid that we would lose some of the midwives that we had worked with to train. So the Rotary Club in Kampala North Rotary Club, partner club with Bluebell, we looked at that and said, well, can we spend some of our money on out of the global grant that we had. It was a significant grant. And could we spend $10,000 in hand washing stations and medications and other things that would help the situation? We went to the Rotary Foundation, asked if we could make this adaptation because we didn't have our VTTs, so we had to adapt our plan and are still adapting it. And Rotary Foundation approved those changes. So communicating back to Rotary, communicating to your partners and trying to find out what might be the challenges and the roadblocks that have been brought up by the pandemic is important. Schedules get stretched. We're on our second interim report when we should have been doing a final report probably. So we're probably stretched out another year because it's taking longer. And so having patience on that and just adapting is important. I think there's more and more focus on training and train the trainers. We can't do it for them, especially now. So giving them the tools that they can build resiliency in their communities is kind of the project emphases that we should be looking at. Because if we can build resiliency, whether it's against disease or whether it floods and famine, whether it's developing the community so it's stronger and can come back from things like pandemics, any of these will have much more sustainable results. One of the things I just mentioned here is developing projects that will enable your community that you're working with in the future as your project finishes sustainability. The equipment drops of the past, buying computers and just giving them to the classroom, buying an ambulance and just having it delivered made us feel good. But more importantly, I think the projects are much more measured by what have I been able to give that community that they can sustain the benefit that the first project that you did with them does. So it's the same, but it's a bit different in this pandemic world. So all I would say is it's going to be a little bit more challenging initially, but I think it'll be much richer for it. We have all kinds of help on this committee. As you mentioned with Cindy, we have experienced Rotarians. One of the things, if you are engaged with grants, is the Rotary's regional grant officers are extremely helpful, along with the Rotary International's tech cadre, which I think we'll speak to in some other international service evenings and the training Tuesdays in the next 2 months. So I'd like to thank Cindy for the opportunity to speak to you, and later, if there are some time for questions, be glad to help.
Thanks, Ron. We're going to go to me again. Hold on a minute. Oh, guess what, everybody? We're almost done. So what does it say? Questions. But the biggest thing is, before we take questions, mark your calendars, because this is a whole series. And in each series, you're going to get just a little bit more information to add to your expertise. Tuesday in February, but I forgot to put the dates. I screwed that up, is the Rotary Action Groups. We're going to talk totally about that. And our focus is going to be is how we use peace in all of our Rotary Action Groups. In March, Training Tuesday, it will be more specific global grants how-tos. So before we end, I will stop sharing and put you all back. If anybody would like to unmute themselves, please feel free to ask questions. This is the first time we've done this, so we weren't sure what to expect. Go back and tell your clubs. Any of the people on our list will be glad to come to your club and talk. Any questions you have, that's what we're here. That's what we're here for. So now that you're all sleeping, come on, let's wake up. Any questions? No questions? Was this what you thought it was going to be? Was it okay or no?
So hi, my name is Kate Hoth. I'm from the Souderton Telford Rotary Club. So it's my project is the one related to Burkina Faso.
I just talked to Herb today. So nice to meet you. I'm glad you could come. I'm interested in hearing more when the time comes, and that's great.
Yeah, so thank you. This is really helpful. I've only been involved in the club for a year, so this is new to me, but really, I can't believe how comprehensive it is. There are so many layers to the organization, and Thank you.
Well, we'll get you started and we'll provide help. Hopefully now you have some people in your club that are grant trained, but it would really help for you to attend one of the certifications so that if you're going to be involved, you'll know.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Other questions? Nobody? You're all staring aimlessly. Okay, too many Zooms today. Okay, then with that, we'll end the session. And I just want to tell everybody thank you. You all have my email. If you have other questions, what our job is we will connect you to the right person to make sure that you get whatever you need done and answered. So thank you very much. Thanks,
Maybe I
Ron.
could ask a question.
No.
How
Oh.
many online are actively looking to have an international project in their club and that has never had one? I know, Catherine, maybe your club would be one of those. No one else?
Well, Allentown, and we're doing international using a district grant, but this year we want to get involved with global grant. So, and that's in Cambodia. And working
Okay,
at,
so that's a Cambodia. Well, March, you have to come back in March for that one, but feel free to call me. In the meantime, I'm the global grant chair, subcommittee chair, subcommittee chair. So.
Cindy, let me also just remind everybody that you can do international grants with district grants. That's another way to do it. It's not as cumbersome, but it's of course not as large and impactful. But there's ways you can use your district grant. You're just going to be doing a district grant, but you're going to be involving another country. And for Solder and Telford, they helped Harleysville 2 or 3 times now with grants that we've done in Nigeria, but we used district grants to do that. So that's another way of taking care of it.
and that's what we're doing this year in Cambodia. We're doing a WASH project for a school, and it's a district grant.
Yeah, what we had said to get them started on an international project, Michael and I were talking, so let's start small so they get used to it and they know the process, and now they're going big. So that's a good thing.
In grant training, you'll learn this, but for those online who might not be going and wait until next month, anything that's 30,000 or over and you want to get Rotary Foundation money is a global grant. So anything smaller than that, you look at district grants that maybe might be $2,000 or $3,000 kind of projects. And if it's a little smaller than that, just club to club. You know, you send some money over there, or you send something over there, or a club member visits. And so there are kind of those 3 levels of projects: club projects, district grant funded projects, and global grant funded projects. So. And a lot of times you just start, you make a visit and your club helps pay for you to go there, and you do an assessment. And then you write a district grant to learn if the club can manage it with you. And that's a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 project. And then it's like, go for the big one.
And just a point that what Cindy was talking about before, we became involved because we were involved with the international travel. And through that, we went to Cambodia, and we went to the area in Prasad and saw what was going on there with Rotarians and the help they're doing. So that's how we became involved.
It's one of the fellowships. So another way.
I mean, youth exchange leads to projects. Any of the other programs within Rotary leads into a possibility of international projects. So.
Okay, anybody else? Any questions? So I hope we got you all excited. There are opportunities, and the information available to us is there. You have the support, and stay tuned for February. More fun and excitement. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Cindy. Great job.
Thank
Good
you.
night, everybody.
Nice presentation.
Thank you, Cindy. Excellent job.
Thank you.